begin, I guess. Let's go. Day. Day? Is it day? Oh, no. Part number 2. Not day number 2. Let's go. Okay, so we're in. No, not we're. I'm in my room right now. I just booked it. We're just lying in our bed, waiting to be called downstairs to have that Vention stew, Vention, Vention, Venetian, Venetian stew and some bread, while waiting for Dalo to come. The mattress dips slightly under your weight. The wool blanket holding the room's modest warmth. From below, the muted clinks of mugs and low murmur of voices drift up through the floorboards, a steady backdrop to the occasional pop from the hearth downstairs. Beyond the frost-edged window, the overcast night sky hangs heavy, its dim light casting the room in a soft grey shadow. There smells faintly of wood smoke and the sharp, clean scents of cold stone. Somewhere outside, Craven calls once, then falls silent. Time drifts in a quiet haze. The common room's sounds rise and fall, then grow fainter as the evening deepens. Eventually, a light knock comes at your door. Alma's voice calls softly through the wood.
Hello? My friend's here. Says he's ready to talk.
Thanks, Alma. I'll be right down.
I'll keep him by the heart.
Alma's replies before her footsteps retreat down the hall. I go see Dalo. The common room feels warmer after the chill of the hallway. Dalo sits at a small table near the hearth, the firelight catching on the green folds of his cloak. His hood is back now, revealing a face weathered by wind and years, with grey threading through his dark hair. He watches you approach, his gaze steady. Good. Sit down. There's much to tell. Not all of it will let you sleep easy. The flames crackle softly between his words. I signal to Alma for 2 mugs of ale. Right? I'm all ears. Alma nods from behind the counter, fetching 2 brimming tankards and setting them down with a solid thump before turning to her work. Dalo leans in, voice low but firm. The forest past the old cairns, lights at night, voices no one can place, and the claw marks you've seen 5 winters ago started the same way and ended with 3 dead and 2 missing. He takes a slow drink, The Seer is tied to it. She sees what's coming and makes it worse. The Seer? Dalo's jaw tightened slightly. Oh, woman. If she can still be called that. Lives deep in the northern woods, where the trees grow too close and the ground swallows the sound. Some say she speaks to things older than the mountains. Others say that she commands them. He sets his mug down. When her name surfaces, so does trouble. Always. Has she always been living deep inside the woods? Far as the stories go, aye. Dalo says, eyes narrowing. Long before Parnas was more than a hunter's camp, some claim she was here before the first stones were laid. Never seen in a village, only glimpsed by those who strayed too far north and return to tell it. He leans closer. Those who don't return, well, their voices sometimes heard in the trees. Sounds to me like she's some kind of boogeyman made up to scare children. Faint humorous smile crosses Dalo's face. That's what I thought once. Then I saw the marks myself. Same as on those logs. And I heard a voice call my name from the dark. No one was there. He takes another slow sip of ale. Boogeymen don't leave bodies in the snow. What happened 5 years ago exactly? Dalo's gaze fixes on the fire. The flicker of flames reflected in his eyes. 5 winters ago. Same warnings. Lights, voices, tracks we couldn't follow. Council sent a small band north to find the source. Hunters, trappers, even a sellsword or two. He exhales slowly. They found something. We never learned what. 3 came back, frozen stiff. No wounds, no signs of a struggle. 2 didn't make it. Just their gear stacked neatly at the edge of the cairns. So nothing happened within Parnas. Not directly, Dalo says, shaking his head. Whatever it was, stayed in the forest. But the fear it left behind. That settle here plenty. Folks kept indoors after dark. Tread slowed, and every creak of the pines made people flinch. He runs a thumb along the rim of his mug. When spring came, the sign stopped. Until now. Interesting. Dalo studies you for a moment, then nods slightly. If you find it interesting, you may be the sort who can stomach what's ahead. Most here just want to forget. The fire pops, sending a brief shower of sparks up the chimney, and the low murmur of the inn wraps around your table like a cocoon against the cold outside. Do you think there's anyone who's currently in the woods out there? Could be, Dalo says, his voice low. Hunter passed through by day, but none I know camped there now. Still, the lights have been moving deeper than the cairns, and not all of them look like lanterns. He glances toward the window, as though the forest might be watching. If there's anyone out there, they're keeping to the shadows, or the shadows are keeping them. Well, you say I want to investigate. Where do we start? The old cairns. Dalo answers without hesitation. Stone markers half buried in moss. About an hour's walk north. Past them, the ground dips into a hollow where the first signs always show. He takes a slow drink before adding, but don't go alone. The path shifts after dark, and the trees, they don't always lead you back the same way. So basically what you're saying is that you're gonna join me on this? If I could, I would. But the council's got my hands tied. They think my place is here, keeping folk calm. He leans in slightly. I can give you a map and the signs to watch for, and someone who knows the way. She's not fond of strangers, but she's seen the caves more times than most. And who's she? Name's Tharra, Dalo says. Trap hunter, knows every trail between here and the Grey Flow. tough as old leather, and twice as hard to read. He drums his fingers lightly on the table. If she agrees to guide you, you'll stand a better chance of coming back. How long has she been here? Does she have a family? Tharra's been harnessed nearly 20 years, Dalo says. Came down from the high passes after a bad winter took her kin. Never married, no children. Lives alone in a cabin east of the village, close to the river. He glances toward the door. You'll likely find her in the square early, trading skins or checking their snares. And so, what about Harbin, the fish guy? I spoke to him earlier. No idea what his deal was. Harbin's harmless enough, if you don't mind the smell of river much, Dalo says with a faint smirk. Knows the Grey flow better than anyone. Been pulling fish from it since he could hold a net. The smirk fades slightly. He's superstitious though. Sees signs in the catch, omens in the weather. Might talk your ear off if he thinks you listen, or clamp up if he thinks you're not ready to hear. Okay, so the plan is to meet Tharra tomorrow morning. Then, if there's nothing else to discuss, I'll just head out right away, whether she wants in or not. Dalo nods once, firm. I'll send word to her tonight. If she's willing, she'll be in the square at first light. If not, you'll at least have my map. He pushes back his chair. Rest while you can. Not through the cairns. Rest is a rare thing. The firelight catches on the green folds of his cloak as he stands. Shadows from the hearth stretching long across the floor. Leslie. Alma brings over a deep wooden bowl brimming with rich, steaming stew. Chunks of tender venison float among carrots, onion, and thick slices of potato, all in a dark, savory broth. A hill of fresh baked bread rests on the side, still warm, its crust crackling faintly as you break it. Best it while it's hot, she says, setting it down with a satisfied nod before moving back toward the kitchen. I guess I finished dinner and returned to my room, calling it a night. The common room's warmth fades as you climb the stairs, replaced by the cooler stillness of the hallway. Inside your room, the wool blanket waits, and the faint lamplight casts soft shadows across the timber walls. Outside the frost-rimmed window, the overcast sky glows faintly with moonlight hidden behind clouds. The only sound is the distant creak of the inn settling in the night air. Sleep comes steadily. The lingering taste of venison and fresh bread fading as the cold mountain quiet closes in. So before going to sleep, I sit by the window, do some reading, some writing, journaling for like an hour and a half. Here's what I notice. Through the frost-feathered glass, you see the market square below lying still in muted light of the cloud-covered moon. Lamplight spills from Frosted Flagon's windows, casting long, dim shapes over the frozen ground. The silhouettes of nearby buildings hunch against the cold, their roofs capped in pale frost. I sit by the window for over an hour, lamp lit for reading and smoke curling toward the rafters. And the scene stays quiet at first, but near the end of your watch, a faint movement catches your eyes. A lone figure crossing the far edge of the square, heading north toward the forest. No lantern, no visible gear, just a slow, deliberate pace that doesn't falter despite the dark. They vanish into the shadows beyond the last house without a sound. Don't try to trick me. I ain't gonna fall for it. Just trying to get some sleep in so that I can get up early in the morning. The chair's warmth lingers as you sleep beneath the wool blanket. Outside, the wind sighs softly through the eaves, and the last embers of the common room's fire send faint heat rising through the floorboards. Your breathing steadies, quiet of the mountain night settling around you. Sleep comes gradually, carrying you into the still, cold hours before dawn. So when do I wake up? Yeah, there shouldn't be anything. You wake up just before first light. A pale gray glow seeps through the frost-lined window, hinting at the sun hidden behind the mountains. The inn is quiet, save for the faint clatter of pots from the kitchen below, and the creak of the building settling in the cold. The air in the room is brisk, your breath faintly visible. Somewhere outside, a rooster calls once, its sound muffled by the heavy morning mist clinging to harness. I pack up the essentials and head downstairs for breakfast. The common room is warm with the smell of baking bread and wood smoke. Oma stands behind the counter, setting out bowls of steaming porridge topped with dried berries. A kettle hisses on the hearth, and the first golden light of morning filters through the frosted windows. "Morning," she says with a nod. "Porridge or bread and cheese today. Tea is hot if you want it." At the table near the door, a broad-shouldered woman in a weathered leather coat sits alone, a bowl propped against a chair. Her sharp gray eyes glance up as you enter. "You must be Tharra." The woman studies you for a moment before nodding once. "That's me. Dalo says you're heading north. Says you got a reason." She gestures to an empty chair across from her. "Sit. If I'm to guide you, I want to hear it from you, not just his word." Her voice is low and steady, with the clipped tone of someone used to speaking only when needed. "Well, first of all, I want to help the village. And second of all, I want to explore the region." Thar's expression remains unreadable, but her gaze sharpens. "Helping the village means following my lead out there. Exploring the region means knowing when not to." She leans back slightly, fingers drumming once on the table. "I'll take you as far as the canes. Beyond that, we'll see. If you slow me down, I turn back. No arguments." "So when are we heading out?" "Soon as you've eaten," Tharra says, reaching for her mug. The forest is quieter in the early hours, easier to hear what's not supposed to be there. She glances toward the window, where the mist still clings thick in the square. "We'll keep to the north trail. Light packs, no fire unless I say." "Dalo said to have me a map of sort. Do you have it, or do I go fetch it from him?" "He left it with me," Tharra says, pulling a folded, oilskin-wrapped sheet from her coat. She sets it on the table and slides it across. The map is hand-drawn, showing Parnas, the Grey Flow, and the northern forest. The cairns are marked with small triangles, and beyond them, faint dotted lines trace paths deeper into the woods, fading out near a shaded hollow labeled only with a single word. Seer. Well, I have breakfast now. Say, how much ration do you think I should bring? 2 days worth will be enough if we turn back at the caves. If we push farther, we'll hunt and trap. No sense carrying more than you have to. Weight slows you, and noise draws things you don't want hearing. She takes a slow sip from her mug. Keep it simple. Dried meat, hot bread, and a flask of water. River refill it if we need it. Got it. I'll be ready in a moment. I'll meet you by the North Trailhead. Don't keep me waiting. She rises, slings her bow over one shoulder, and steps out into the misty morning. The door's hinges creaking softly behind her. Breakfast, rest, ask Omar for 2 days worth of ration, pack things up, check 'em, and head out. The porch is warm and filling, the dried berries adding a faint sweetness that lingers as you finish. Omar wraps 2 days worth of rations, dried venison, hot bread, and a small pouch of dried apples, neatly in waxed cloth, and hands them over with a quick note. Outside, the morning mist curls around the square, softening the shapes of buildings. The air is crisp, scents of pine sharp in your lungs. At the northern edge of the village, Tharra waits by the trailhead, bow across her back, eyes scanning the forest beyond. Ready? She asks, her voice low against the hush of the mist. Let's go. Tharra nods once and steps onto the narrow trail, her boots silent on the frost-hardened earth. The path winds between leaning pines, their needles dripping with mist. Cold air carries the faint scent of damp moss and distant wood smoke from the village. The further you walk, the quieter it grows. Bird calls fade, replaced by the soft crunch of frost beneath your feet, and the occasional groan of branches shifting overhead. After nearly an hour, shapes emerge through the fog. Low stone caves, half collapsed and overgrown with moss, standing like silent sentinels across the path. Tharra raises a hand to halt. This is where it starts, she murmurs. Beyond here, keep your voice down and your eyes open. Is it enough? Tharra scans the tree line for a long moment, then steps forward between two of the mossy cairns. The air beyond feels heavier, colder, as if the mist itself thickens around you. The forest grows denser here, trunks packed close, the bark dark and slick. Shafts of dim grey light filter through the canopy. The ground beneath is shadowed, moss muffling every step. Somewhere ahead, a faint sound stirs. Not quite wind, not quite voice. Tharra's head tilts slightly, listening. You hear that? She whispers. The stillness settles around you like a held breath. At first, only the faint drip of water from high branches reaches your ears. Then, threading through the mist, comes a low, wavering murmur, almost like words, but too faint to make out. It seems to drift from deeper in the forest, the tone neither fully human nor entirely unnatural, rising and falling with no clear rhythm. Tharra's eyes narrow. That wasn't here yesterday. So I want to pinpoint the direction of the sound and see if I can classify it somewhere. Perception check. Direction and the nature of the sound. First roll of the day! Let's go! Ooh! That's real nice. 19%. A total of 22. You catch the sound's direction and subtleties quickly. It comes from the northeast, deeper into the forest, past the caves, where the mist thickens and the trees crowd closer. The tone carries a strange layered quality, as if more than one voice is speaking in unison, their words slightly out of sync. You can tell the voices are not carried by the wind. They maintain a steady volume despite the shifting air. The cadence is deliberate, almost like a chant. What was in here yesterday? The voices. Tharra whispered back, eyes fixed on the mist to the northeast. I passed through here yesterday, setting traps. Quiet as any winter morning. Now, her hand drifted toward the fletching of an arrow. Some things moved in or woken up. That way. Sounds like a chant to me. Tharra's gaze follows your point, and she gives a slow, grim nod. Aye. Chanting is never good news out here. She shifts her bow into her hand, voice low. We can skirt wide, and watch from cover, or head straight in and risk being hurt. Your call now. Let's get closer first, and watch out for the distance. Tharra nods once and moves ahead, keeping low as she weaves between mossy trunks. The forest floor is soft underfoot, muffling your steps, while the mist swirls in faint appearance around your legs. The chanting grows clearer with each quiet pace, still layered, still out of sync. But now you catch fragments of language you don't recognize. There's a rhythmic, almost hypnotic quality to it, underpinned by a slow, hollow thump, like a heartbeat. Through the shifting mist ahead, a dim, unnatural glow pulses faintly between the trees. Tharra freezes, holding up a hand. We're close, she breathed. Any vantage point around, you think? Tharra scans the area, then points to a broad, low-branched pine about 20 feet to your right. Its trunk leans slightly, offering an easier climb than moss, and the dense needles could conceal you from sight. Beyond that, a rocky outcrop rises another 30 feet ahead, half hidden by mist. It's closer to the glow, it would require crossing a more open patch of ground. Trees safer, rocks riskier, but better view, she whispers. Let's check the tree first, see if we can make up anything. The pine's bark is rough and cold under your hand. Flecks of resin, sticky sap clinging to your fingers. Its lower branches are sturdy, thick with dark green needles that block much of the view from the ground. From here, you can see the trunk's natural curves would give a perch high enough to glimpse the glow without fully exposing yourself. The branches sway faintly in a light breeze, but the trees otherwise still. No signs of wildlife rest in its limbs. No nest, no webbing, no claw marks. It looks sound enough to climb quietly. You, me, both. You. Tharra whispers back without hesitation. I'll cover you from below. If anything moves, I'll have an arrow ready before they know you're there. Her eyes flick to the glow ahead and back to you. Climb slow. Don't break the needles. Sound carries different in this mist. And climb up the tree. The bark scrapes lightly against your palms as you pull yourself up, each branch creaking faintly under your weight. The resin scent grows stronger, mixing with the cold, damp air. About 15 feet up, you find a sturdy branch with a natural fork to brace against. From here, the mist thins just enough for you to see past the closer pines. Through the grey veil, the source of the glow comes in view. A small clearing with 4 hooded figures stand in a loose circle around the stone slab. Their heads sway in unison with the chant, hands raised toward the faintly pulsing crystal set atop the slab. Each pulse matches the slow, hollow thump you heard earlier. Let's try to identify the figures. Perception check. Okay. Details of the hooded figures through the mist. Oh my god. 19 and a 2. 19 and a 2. That's crazy. With a total of 5. The mist and the shifting glow obscure too many details. You can make out only their rough height and build. All appear humanoid, and none stand much taller than 6 feet. Their hoods, cloaks, blend with the dim forest tones, concealing faces, armor, or any distinguishing features. The chanting's rhythm makes it hard to tell if they move with intent or simply sway in place. So, do I know anything of this chant? Probably religion, okay? Recognize anything about the chant, natures or origin. Religion. Still, religion. I have good religion. Good faith. 12. It's 3. 15 in religion. The chant's cadence and tonal structure feel reminiscent of old pre-faith invocation patterns. Rites not devoted to any recognized god of the realms. The layered, out-of-sync delivery is especially telling. Such chants are often meant to disorient listeners and blur the line between prayers and summoning. The crystal's pulse, syncing with the chant, suggests it is acting as a focus or conduit, possibly amplifying or channeling whatever the rite intends to reach. This is not a harmless ritual.